The Sooners went into Philadelphia and came away with a dominant victory last Saturday over Temple, 42-3. The Oklahoma defense, unpenetrable. They gave up just over 100 yards. John Mateer got himself in the open field, and Oklahoma's 3-0 as they get set now to come home for the SEC opener Saturday afternoon against the Auburn Tigers. And we welcome you into Sooner Game Day, brought to you by Taco Mayo. Tap the app and save up to 25% today. I'm Toby Rowland alongside two of the all-time greats in OU football history, my radio partners, Teddy Lehman and Gabe Eichert. Gabe looking dapper today.
Loving it.
Look at that.
Hey, State Fair going on. I'm taking my kids, taking my boys to the bull riding tonight at the new arena down there at State Fair Park.
Sure.
I was asking my wife, what should I wear for the show today? She was like, denim. And then I was like, denim, bolo tie.
You got spurs on?
No spurs.
No spurs.
No spurs.
Okay.
But this was a gift. Tom Love gave this to me years ago.
Very nice.
So I've always cherished it. It's
that a horse?
It's a horse.
Okay.
I told my kids it's Secretariat. We're in a big Secretariat phase.
Right.
At the Eichert house.
I feel like Auburn's got no shot.
No shot.
Gabe shows up
not
in a
when
bolo
we're bringing
tie.
this to the pregame show. No chance for the Tigers.
Plaid jacket. We're looking sharp today as we get set for Oklahoma and Auburn. Guys, 3-0 in the preseason. Teddy, got a win over Michigan in there as well. How do you evaluate kind of the first 25% of the season before we jump into conference play?
I think it's been really good. You know, defense is playing fantastic, just smothering football, stuff in the run. And we've forced people to where they've gotten ultra conservative on us because they're worried about protecting their quarterback, worried about making a mistake. It's unfolded just how you want. And on the offensive side, I think we've done a good job. You know, a little slow out of the gate running the football, but I think that's really come along the last couple of games. Mateer's factored into the run game. He's got the big play ability that we've seen. We buttoned up the special teams. That we had the mistakes against Michigan and looked much better against Temple. You know, as we're rolling into game 4, I think you're right where you want to be.
Offensively, it's been solid. It's been really solid. Clearly, we've all been very pleased with what we've seen from John Mateer. And when you look at it, over 35 points a game, one of the things that stands out is the balance that we've seen from this offense. Now, we all want them to run the football more efficiently. There's no doubt about it. But through 3 games, 108 pass attempts, 114 rushes.
Wow. Balance.
You're looking for balance. And we told everyone when they hired Ben Arbuckle, you may call him an air raid guy, but he wants to run the football. And even though they haven't found the level of success that they've been wanting to see running it, he's still running it. And I think the thought process there is, hey, it's coming. Eventually, this thing's all going to come together in the run game, and we're going to find a little more success. But I've been really, really pleased with what we've seen from the offense, especially when you compare it to what we saw last year.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about last year.
Let's
not talk about last year. But it's a lot of encouraging stuff from the offense through 3 games.
Oklahoma goes into conference play leading the SEC in virtually every defensive category except for forced turnovers. We'll talk about that in a bit. John Mateer leads the SEC in passing yards, number 2 in total offense. Now here comes Auburn. 2:30 kickoff on Saturday on Owen Field, and that, of course, means the return of Jackson Arnold. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know he was the quarterback at Oklahoma last year. Now he's at Auburn. It's going to be fascinating, Gabe, to see what the reception is, how he plays, how Sooner fans react to how he plays.
I don't understand why this is even a conversation. We appreciate Jackson Arnold for what he did when he was at Oklahoma. But he doesn't play for us anymore. That's the bottom line for me. Just like every other player that comes in to this stadium, I want this fan base to make his life miserable. Now, we are not a nasty, vile fan base. That's not how we go about it, and I never want us to be that type of fan base. But when he's in between the lines, I want this fan base to make his football life absolutely miserable. That's the bottom line for me. I don't even understand, like, do we boo him? I don't understand why this is a conversation. He plays for the other team, Ted.
Hey, I'm with you. Hey,
It's like, I don't feel bad for the kid. He plays for the other team.
You can give him a golf clap as they jog to the locker room.
No,
as a
I will
loser.
not. I refuse.
After the game,
I refuse. He plays for the other team.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And I think that we saw it in the Michigan game, and there's been a lot of build up to this one, the talk through the offseason. Crowd has to continue to be a factor. It helps your defense out so much. And, you know, this game in particular, I think one of the things about Jackson Arnold, he's looked better this year, but he hadn't faced a whole lot of adversity. Really, the only time he faced adversity was the first quarter and a half against Baylor, and, you know, he didn't look that great. So you have to create that same type of atmosphere for him.
I just think that I think the fan base realizes how important this game is in particular. And clearly, Jackson Arnold coming back, like that's the big storyline. But coming into the year, we looked at OU's schedule and went, dang, that's brutal. That SEC slate is brutal. It's looking a little more manageable now with what we've seen from South Carolina, with what we've seen from Texas's offense. And this game is massive for what this season can be. And I know we're all starting to get very excited about what this season can be for Oklahoma. And this is this could be an inflection point for this team and for this 2025 season. So I want Jackson Arnold to play the worst possible game imaginable. And I want our crowd to be a huge part of that. And I know they will be. I have zero doubt about that.
I'm just having a hard time getting over the look is spectacular today, by the way.
It's, dude, the State Fair. Come on, man.
I love it. You win this game. Oklahoma wins this game.
Tassels that's key.
Pretty good shot of being 6-0, obviously, going into Red River. I got a prediction for you. When Jackson Arnold takes the field for the first time, I think there will be a roaring ovation, because he will also take the field with the OU defense.
Right.
And they'll be going crazy, asking for sound. So I think they'll probably be reacting
That's why you're
to
the best in the business, T-Rob.
the Oklahoma defense taking the field. We'll take a break. All right, let's dive into this matchup. We're talking OU's offense against Auburn's defense. When we come back, you're watching Sooner Game Day. The jump pass. John Mateer at Temple for big gain. Torrey Blaylock went for 2 touchdowns. He was your SEC Freshman of the Week. And Oklahoma rolled over the Owls, which not the smartest birds, as we found out, 42-3 up in Philadelphia. This week, a little tougher animal. The Tigers of Auburn in store for the Sooners. Kickoff just after 2:30 on Owen Field. Let's talk about OU's offense against the Auburn defense. So, Gabe, you're our specialist here. First off, OU's passing game has been, borderline elite. It's been really good so far with Mateer, with Burks. Satani was great at Temple. Maybe they're going to have Keontez Lewis for this game as well. For Auburn, their secondary seems to be their weakness so far this season. Anyway, how do you size up this matchup?
I think you're exactly right. Now, do you want to run it efficiently, and are we going to run the football? There's no doubt about it. But Ben Arbuckle has been fantastic so far this season when it comes to maximizing our strengths and attacking the opponent's weaknesses. And when you look at Auburn defensively, there are 2 things that really stand out when it comes to their weaknesses. They are very light at linebacker, and they're struggling to find their guys, their best combination in the secondary. So I am expecting Ben Arbuckle to attack the linebackers in the run game, and then, of course, to attack their secondary in the passing game. And I think Burks and Jaron Kanik are going to have big games. If the pass protection continues to be as good as it's been, I don't see any reason why it can't be a big day through the air for John Mateer.
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the things that for Auburn, they like to heat people up. They like to bring some pressure. Well, as a defensive coach, when you see John Mateer in the off-schedule plays, like here's a pressure right here, he evades a tackle, gets outside and throws one in one-on-one down the field, you're a little less, likely just to continue to dial it up whenever he's made people pay whenever they add guys to the rush. You combine that with a secondary that maybe they don't have a whole lot of confidence in. It's going to be interesting to see how they play Mateer. We've seen a ton of too high so far this year, but if Auburn gets aggressive, I think Mateer has a chance either, the traditional pass game, reading it out from the pocket if we can protect him, or getting out and running and doing some of those off-script plays, which really get you worried as a defensive coordinator.
Of note for Auburn, Jay Crawford, considered their best cornerback, is doubtful for this game, according to the last availability report that was out. That could be a blow. His backup, Rayon Strader, though, transferred from Miami of Ohio, where he was the MAC Defensive Back of the Year last year. So we'll see how that matchup goes. Can OU run the ball, Gabe, on these guys? The defensive front, the front line has been very difficult to run on this year.
There's no doubt that Auburn's defensive line is the strength of their defense, maybe the strength of their entire football team. They're heavy up front, heavy in the interior, and heavy at the edge positions. Like Keldrick Falk is 285 pounds. So we've seen OU have its the most successful runs have come when we've spread teams out and run it into light boxes. I think you'll see Ben Arbuckle spread these guys out to see how they're going to play those things early in the game, and even get to some empty formations and just get to some 5-box runs with John Mateer carrying the football. Or you can get to some things where, you're getting a 6-man box and you run Mateer with a guy like Javonte Barnes getting into the blocking scheme and leading as a blocker on some of those schemes. So I think spreading them out and making that heavy defensive line from Auburn move laterally is the best approach. That being said, there is a big piece of me that wants us to get in 2 tight ends and run it right downhill at these linebackers, because they're playing linebackers that are 220 and 217 pounds.
Yeah.
Like you have to, and they're built to defend the spread offenses we see in college football, like speed, guys that can really run at the backer position. I would like to see some stuff where we get into 12 personnel and run counter and power at them, because the way that they line up to that stuff, the gap scheme, just to get a little O-line nerdy right here, the gap scheme angles with the way that Auburn lines up to that stuff, they're great. You can't ask for better angles as an offensive line and tight end group. So I would love to see some of that sprinkled in there as well.
Keyron Crawford, the defensive end on the other side of Keldrick Falk, has been very good for Auburn this year as well. There's been a 3-week vetting process at running back, Teddy, and we've landed, I think, on the agreed-upon RB1. This freshman, Torrey Blaylock's been fantastic, hasn't he?
I love everything about the kid. I mean, the toughness is incredible. Had the shoulder issue in the first week, comes out against Michigan, doesn't even care. He's out there selling out, and 3 weeks now, he's looked like the best guy that we have, bouncing it outside, running over guys. He's got physicality. He's been really good, assignment sound in the protection game, which, usually the freshmen aren't as good at the pass protection. That's something that comes later. Not asked to do that a whole lot at the high school level, but I love the balance that he has. He's physical between the tackles. He's got breakaway speed if he gets out on the edge. He's got some shake in the open field. You can trust him in the passing game. He's a great all-around back. And, listening to Gabe talk about the run game, I do think that we're going to have some opportunities, because we can be very multiple. We can add the quarterback in. We can do the jet sweep stuff that has started to become a really big weapon. And I don't think that Auburn is all that disciplined of a defense. So I think there's a decent chance that Blaylock could have a nice game.
One thing that DeMarco Murray told us on Coach's Corner this week, Torrey Blaylock has been RB1, 3 weeks, 0 missed assignments.
Wow.
He actually said he can't remember the last time he had a missed assignment, and that includes practice. So he has been fantastic, and he's doing it with a bad shoulder. I mean, it's the level he's playing at for a true freshman running back is incredibly impressive.
Quick answers. John Mateer ran the ball 19 times against Michigan. Do we see the quarterback run game a big part of this game plan as well, in your estimation?
Yes. And I know Mateer looked a little banged up in that Temple game. I know we saw the high knees on the touchdown run. It That's typically not how he looks when he runs. So I wonder if, one of those shots he took in the game, there was an issue there. But I think in a perfect world, he's running it somewhere between, 10, 12 times in this game, Ted. You got to pick your spots, but this is a big football game, and we've got 2 bye weeks essentially after this one for him to get nice and restful.
There's your Kent State bulletin board material right there, by
They're
the way.
terrible.
The golden
I don't
flashes
care.
are watching.
They're awful.
Yeah.
They're a terrible football team.
Here's all I'll say about Mateer. You get nervous about your quarterback running it a bunch, especially against these physical teams, but that's what he wants.
Yeah.
And I think that's when he's at his best, whenever he's, taking some hits, getting some tough yards. I think that's when the gamer comes out.
It's an advantage he brings to this offense. You got to take advantage of it. We'll take a break. When we come back, the OU defense against the Auburn offense. We'll size up that matchup next on Sooner Game Day, brought to you by Taco Mile. Through 3 weeks, it's hard to ask for more from the Oklahoma defense, other than maybe a couple of takeaways here and there. They have been suffocating. As we mentioned previously, they lead the SEC in virtually every category. 4 sacks against Temple last Saturday. There you see it. First in scoring defense, first downs allowed, third down defense, pass yards allowed, second and fourth down conversions, third in tackles for loss. They have been very, very good. But here's a different test as we get set for Oklahoma and Auburn. Let's start up front, Ted. The front seven for Oklahoma has been great, maybe the best in the country so far. Auburn can really run the football. The offensive line is very experienced. They're getting Damari Alston back at running back this week. Jeremiah Cobb's been good. What a clash up front between these two teams this should be.
I think so. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think Auburn's offensive line is big. They're physical. They come off the ball. But I still think we have a big advantage there. And just looking at that graphic, 7th in rush defense, our worst rating, it's probably what we're it is what we're
That's
best
shocking, honestly.
It's the one Michigan
It's one
play.
game, yeah.
That's it. Where we were lined up wrong.
And it doesn't tell the story. So I know some people, thinking about this game and, looking at the way Auburn has run the football, like that statistic is maybe the most misleading statistic of all, because we are great against the run. And I believe that we are going to make it very, very hard on Auburn. If they can run the ball, that's how they beat you. You want Jackson Arnold to have to beat you from the pocket in traditional passing game, having to throw the ball on 3rd and long. You may have to live with some one-on-one shots or, some challenging RPOs because of how aggressive you're going to play it. But, from what I've seen from Brent Venables, that's what he's going to do. He's going to stop the run. We're going to bring pressure. We're going to make it chaotic in the backfield. And I think Auburn's obviously, they've got some levers they can pull with the RPO game and the great wide receiving core where they can just, take it, throw a shot on you one-on-one. But I think we'll live with that and try to compete for those plays. We like our corners right now. So, that's going to tell the story, the line of scrimmage. And even though Auburn's been good so far this year, I still think we have an advantage, maybe even a large advantage.
It all comes down to discipline assignments on football. And that is what this defense has been so good at through 3 games. You can't get wrapped up in, hey, I want to make a play, I want to make a play, I want to make a play. Do your job. Because who's going to be the quarterback player if Jackson Arnold pulls the ball?
Yep.
Whoever the quarterback player is, you got to be where you're supposed to be. If you're taking the run, if you're the running back player, if he's going in your gap, you got to be in your gap. It's not more complicated than that. Now, Auburn's going to have some big plays in this game. This is the most talented skill group we've seen by a wide margin. They're going to make some plays, but I don't think they're capable of stringing 10, 12, 14 play drives together and going and punching it in the end zone. The key for me, and this is something that Teddy's brought up throughout the week, is do not give up the huge back-breaking explosive plays.
Make them nickel and dime their way down the field.
Make them snap it again. And Cam Coleman may go up and get one on one of our corners. He's a very talented player. But get him on the ground, let's line up again. Make him snap it again.
let's talk about that. The passing game. Auburn's passing numbers won't wow you, but they haven't had to throw the ball a lot because the running game has been so good. They do have Cam Coleman. Eric Singleton, transferred from Georgia Tech, probably the number one wide receiver in the transfer portal this year. He's been fantastic. Teddy, this is by far the best receiving core OU's faced all season.
No doubt, yeah.
Maybe will be the rest of the season.
Yeah, they got speed, they've got size, they've got athleticism, playmaking ability. They check all the boxes. But the problem is, Jackson Arnold, in my opinion, he's got great size, athleticism. He's great running the football. Whenever his first read is there and he rips it, he's got a great arm. The problem is going through progressions. I still think he's a step slow. And with the way our defense plays, you don't have time to be a step slow. And that's where I think we can get him, is whenever he hesitates, pulls the ball down, and we can get to him in the pocket. And, even whenever he scrambles, I think we'll make him pay. This is an incredibly physical defense. So to me, like the passing game, it's a worry with the wide receivers. And that's really just from going up and making a play in one-on-one coverage. And I think we'll have, tight coverage there. Corner's been good. There's going to be some 50-50 balls. It's not a read it out, find the open spot, third read type of offense. And I think that plays into our hands.
You see the number there, OU number 2 in the nation in pass defense, number 1 in the SEC in that category. They haven't really played a team that really throws it all around the yard yet, so that skews that number a little bit. Turnovers. As good as this defense has been, they haven't forced one yet. They're -5 in turnover margin. Gabe, are we worried about this?
No, I'm not. Now, I guarantee you Brent Venables, it's keeping him up at night that they have not forced some takeaways. They preach it over and over and over again in meetings, in practice. But if they just keep playing defense at the level that they're playing at, and the offense continues to be an efficient, solid group, you're going to keep winning games. That's all I care about, is winning.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. Now, forcing turnovers absolutely helps that. But they gave up 104 yards of offense last week, and they didn't force any turnovers. Sign me up for that every time. You know what I mean? I get that it's just strange that they've played at an elite level and they haven't forced any, Ted. But we know they're coming. Like, if they continue to play the way that they've been playing, they continue to shut down the run the way that they've been shutting down the run, and putting quarterbacks in tough third and medium, third and long positions, like, the turnovers are going to come.
They are. It's funny because part of the reason I believe they don't have the turnovers is because of how good they're playing. They've backed offenses into a corner to where they play everything conservatively. Go back to the Michigan game. How many chances did Michigan take with the football? They were worried about their young quarterback making a mistake. So we've been so aggressive on the line of scrimmage. We've stopped the run so good that you're backed up, you're in 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14. Coaches are like, we're not going to donate you the football. We'll check it down. We'll run a draw. We'll try and get out of here and see if we can flip it on the other side, because the defense has really smothered people out of taking any chances, any risk with the football at all.
And we know Brent Venables and the OU defense's goal is going to be get this Auburn offense in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. If they do that on a consistent basis, just with what I've seen from Jackson Arnold on tape through his first 3 games, he's going to throw us one, because it still doesn't look decisive and confident when he has to play from the pocket.
233 straight passes without a pick. Do you know Jackson Arnold's last interception, either one of you? The Tennessee game last year here. It's gone a long time since he's fumbled it a few times, but he hasn't thrown an interception this year, and it's been a while, so maybe this will be the week. We'll take a break. We'll talk about Jackson Arnold and do a deeper dive into what Auburn is bringing to Owen Field on Saturday when we come back on Sooner Game Day. Stay with us. This was a year ago on the Plains at Auburn. Michael Hawkins, a true freshman, made his first start, got the win. That was the 2-point conversion, going flipping into the end zone. Art Mason Thomas had a couple of late sacks in that game, but this is the one we remember right here. Kip Lewis, 63-yard pick six, and Oklahoma got a big road win, 27-21 on a memorable day. Fellas, we got to see them. Eagle fly. It was a great atmosphere. I can't wait to go back to Auburn. That was a lot of fun. But they're coming to Norman this Saturday, and of course the headliner is Jackson Arnold, OU's former quarterback, coming now back to Norman as the quarterback at Auburn. I'm interested, Teddy, in the approach you think Brent Venables will take against a quarterback that he knows very well on Saturday. Does that help the preparation? What do you think his game plan will be?
I think it helps preparation a lot. There's been talk like, what's Jackson Arnold telling Auburn about Oklahoma? Well, I think Brent Venables and his depth of knowledge on Jackson Arnold I think that is massively in our favor. I think that Brent Venables, knowing Jackson, he's going to heat him up in the pocket. You look at a lot of the mistakes that happen for Jackson Arnold, it's whenever he's under pressure or maybe he doesn't even feel the pressure, but all of a sudden he's off script and he doesn't know what to do with the football. That's whenever his fumbles happen. That's whenever, the bad plays. We saw it, early in the Baylor game. So I think he's going to heat him up and make him try and, be decisive with the football. I don't think that's a strong point for him. The other thing he's going to do is change the picture on the back end. Show pre-snap a look and then move on the snap. Change what Jackson Arnold sees pre-snap to what he sees post-snap. And that's going to give you more of those positions where he panics in the pocket, pulls it down, or doesn't see it and throws it to you.
This is The Scoop, brought to you by Brahms Ice Cream and Dairy Store, farm fresh for over 50 years. Gabe, you saw it there in the highlights a couple of times. Ultimately, you got to worry about him pulling it down and taking off, too, because he is a fantastic runner.
That's his strength right now, and that's what makes this Auburn offense difficult to defend. We talk about it all the time on here. QB run game is a nightmare to defend, and Jackson can run. He's a good athlete now. Teddy mentioned it earlier, and we've heard people say this about Mateer. When he runs, he's a ball carrier. You got to go make him think twice about how much he wants to run in this football game. It's a physical game, and this defense has been extremely physical when they arrive to the football. I expect that to continue tomorrow when Auburn's quarterback is carrying the ball.
What about the defense? Let's flip sides of the ball here. You talked a little about it earlier, Gabe, but what kind of a game plan do you expect from Auburn against John Mateer?
I think if I was Auburn and I looked at OU's offense, the number one thing I would say is let's try to contain their wide receivers in the passing game. That's been the strength. So they're going to bring some pressure. They like to blitz their inside backers. Our running backs are going to be tested in pass protection. They've been really good, like especially Blaylock and Barnes have been really good in those situations. But I would try to reduce the explosive plays from the wide receiver core and almost dare us to run the ball. I'd play a lot of too high shell and say, okay, you want to run it? Run it, because Auburn's strength is that defensive line. That's how I would play it if I were them. I would sit back in a two shell, rally up to everything and tackle in the quick passing game, and try to prevent the explosive plays down the field. Because if they want to bring pressure and they want to play man on the outside, Burks is going to cook them. Canick, I don't think they have a backer that can cover Canick. Michael Trigg from Baylor went
Shoot him up.
off. No one could cover him. And I think that Canick, while they're very different body types, Canick has similar speed to what Trigg from Baylor's got. So I think that they'll pick their spots when they're super aggressive, but it would surprise me a lot if this game plan for Auburn involves bringing constant pressure. I'd sit back and make OU go on long, extended drives.
Time for My Pleasure, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Download the Chick-fil-A app and order your favorites ahead of time. What would bring you the most pleasure watching this game on Saturday from the OU perspective, Ted?
Well, for me, I want to see us score first. I think if we can score first, the stadium's going to come alive. Our defense is going to get ultra aggressive. And that's not how Auburn wants to play. They want to play from in front, run the football, limit what their quarterback has to do from the pocket. If we can put the pressure on Jackson Arnold with our offense, that's when I think the turnovers come.
Gabe?
0 sacks.
Allowed.
Yeah. I would prefer our defense to
Just
get
wanted to
lots
clarify
of,
that, yeah.
Let me make myself very clear. I would like our defense to have lots of sacks. But for when our offense is on the field, I think our biggest advantage is our wide receivers, and I include Kanik in that, against their secondary. They're still trying to find their combination in the secondary. They haven't found their guys on the back end. And if Mateer is clean in the pocket, I expect him to have a big, big day throwing the football. I know a bunch of these O-linemen are banged up, but boys, we got 2 bye weeks after this one. Do what you got to do to play at a high level, and let's roll. The pass protection's been great. I expect it to continue to be very good. So 0 sacks would be tremendous.
I mean, you look like you may be called upon to take someone to the train station in Yellowstone after the show. It's fantastic today. All right, we'll take a break.
What this defense is going to do to Jackson Arnold.
We haven't mentioned yet that OU will be without their best pass rusher for the first half on Saturday. We'll discuss that targeting call, plus our pick 'em for a big weekend in college football next here on Sooner Game Day. Stay with us.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Sooner Game Day is presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino. Sooner Game Day is presented by Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan-fueled, athlete-focused. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Time for our NCAA updates brought to you by Taco Mayo. Tap the app and save up to 25% today. We'll circle back to the first thing there about targeting. Spring transfer portal window removed. There's only going to be one transfer window going forward. I think we all are in agreement on that. Is that
Love
a
it.
good idea? Okay.
Love it.
One
that
other
being
thing,
said,
yeah.
think it's going to get challenged in court and think they're going to have a problem there.
One other thing I'll mention is that we're going to find out OU's 9 opponents in the SEC next year on Tuesday of next week, and included in that, we'll find out what their 3 permanents are.
Can someone help me out? Why are we doing this during the season? We got games to talk about. This
It's the bye week. It's the bye week next week. This is great for content.
It's going to be great for us.
Yeah.
Podcast is already done, bud. Excellent. But we're playing games. Can't we do this in like January?
No, we need to know.
February?
We need to know now.
We
got to know. Back to the targeting thing. R. Mason Thomas will miss the first half of this game. He was called for targeting in the second half at Temple. I know both of you guys are passionate about this topic. Teddy, I'll start with you. Have we gone too far with the targeting penalty?
In my opinion, yes. I'm all for player safety. Everyone is, right? And I think we've veered away from the intent of the rule. The intent of the rule is making sure that guys aren't being exposed, blown up, helmet to helmet, lunging with the crown of your, like incredibly dangerous plays. And what we've done is we've taken every single play where there's any helmet-to-helmet contact with the quarterback in the pocket or a defensive player downfield, and we've ripped guys out of a football game. Whenever those things happen throughout the course of a game, it's football. You can have a little bit of helmet to helmet that's not a dangerous play that just happens, and I think the punishment doesn't fit the crime, and I think we veered away from the intent of the rule. I think that you should eject a player for a malicious hit, a late hit, a receiver that's stretched out, and a safety full speed lunges, dives, and runs his helmet right through the face mask of a wide receiver. That, I think, was the intent of the rule. Having your hands up, trying to bat a pass, rushing the quarterback, and brushing his helmet in the pocket. I don't think the intent of the rule was to eject some of the best players in the game for a play where did he make contact? Let's see, let's slow it down. Yeah, he made contact, toss him. I just can't imagine that was the original intent of the rule.
You have something to add real quick?
The way that the rule is being applied currently sucks. And one of the number one reasons it's terrible is you'll see a hit. You can see identical hits, pretty much identical hits in two different games.
Yeah.
One guy gets tossed, one guy doesn't. The lack of consistency with the rule is, it's horrible. I was all for the targeting rule when it was implemented. As a guy that had one too many concussions and I'm comfortable with, I get it. You want to protect guys, especially their heads. But this was a rule, it was supposed to take violent, dangerous, malicious hits out of the game. And we got guys getting ejected for just playing clean football. It's wrong. It's wrong. Whit Weeks gets tossed the first drive of that Florida game. You know why I know that wasn't targeting? Because the Florida wide receiver popped up, gave the ref the ball, looked to the sideline for the next play. It's a football play, man. Football is a dangerous game. It's a physical game. You got to let football be football. Targeting, I believe, is a penalty that should essentially call itself, where you go, oh my gosh, that guy tried to kill that guy. And then you're gone.
I'd like to see there be a differentiation between targeting that's the 15-yard penalty, which is still costly, and targeting plus ejection. And that's the malicious part.
Yeah, you can just go,
the guy's going to miss a game.
A 15-yard penalty, and you can just say, hey, you can implement a new helmet-to-helmet rule. There can be targeting, and then there can be a helmet-to-helmet penalty. That's a helmet-to-helmet penalty. Targeting, you get tossed. You tried to hurt the guy. There's no place for that in the game anymore. Get out of here.
Let's take a look at our Pick'em scoreboard brought to you by Riverwind. Riverwind Casino, always a good
Boys,
time.
You guys are in trouble.
Last week, the
Notre Dame, come on, man.
Steve and Chad.
Fourth and 11.
Combination there.
Fourth and goal from the 11.
Dave, 3 of 5.
Make better picks. I don't know.
So what's the over? Do we have the overall score here? Nope, we don't have that. Okay, that's how we did last week.
I'm up 3 on you guys.
It was up on the top.
Oh, is it the top?
Yeah.
Okay, 6, 9, and
I've got
6.
9.
what do you got?
6.
6, okay. Pick 'em this week. Number 1, Texas Tech at Utah. A couple of top 20 teams going at it. Ted?
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, this is the most difficult one for me to pick. I really like what Dampier's done at Utah, and I think being home, I'll give them the advantage. Texas Tech, I think, opens themselves. They've got perhaps better players, but I don't think they're a very disciplined group on defense, and I think Dampier makes them pay.
Time for those Texas Tech defensive linemen to earn those paychecks.
Hey, this is a big game.
They got two legit tackles at Utah. One guy's going to be a very early first-round pick. Give me Tech to go get it done on the road. 10 a.m. local kickoff for this one.
Yikes. I'll take Utah as well. I'm looking forward to this game. Got to go quick here. Michigan against Nebraska. Okay. In Lincoln.
Give me Nebraska. You're a dog at home. Matt Rule's pregame speech is going to be epic. I think that defense for Nebraska can mitigate the effectiveness of Bryce Underwood, even though it seemed like they unlocked him a little bit last week. Ted.
This is a big moment for Rule in Nebraska, and I've seen this before with Nebraska, and I've picked Nebraska here, and I've regretted it. So until I see them actually get over the hump, I'm going to take Michigan.
I'll take Michigan as well.
I'll be cheering for Michigan because that'd be good for us.
Help OU. Yeah. Florida against Miami. The Gators are reeling. Do they get a road win here, Ted?
I want to take Florida so bad in this game, but after Lagway's performance last week, the 6 turnovers, I don't imagine that's going to happen again, but I think Beck's been better with the ball. There's more playmakers there. They're playing better. Give me Miami.
I think Miami just might be the best team in the country through 3 weeks. I'm very interested to see how DJ Lagway bounces back from the worst football game he's played in his entire life.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure how the vibes are there with Florida. Give me the Hurricanes.
Miami going to look past the Gators. This is when Billy Napier starts his second half turnaround. I'll take Florida.
Right,
Whoa! Illinois at Indiana. Illinois a favorite on the road. Gabe, got to go fast.
Give me Illinois, outside zone team. I always pick the outside zone team.
Yeah, I love Altmaier too at quarterback.
He's excellent.
Disciplined defense. I'll take Illinois.
Kurt Cignetti yet to lose a home game.
I know.
I'll take Indiana. Arizona State against Baylor. Last one, Ted.
Arizona State.
In Waco.
I was really disappointed watching the Auburn-Baylor game and reviewing that. I like Arizona State. I think this is going to be a nice battle of quarterbacks, but give me Levitt and Arizona State.
Levitt hasn't been great so far this season. I don't trust Baylor's defense at all after studying that game this week, but Bears at home.
Yeah. They can
the
throw
Bears.
the ball around a little bit. I'll take Baylor as well. We'll take a break. We'll close out the show with hot takes next. You're watching Sooner Game Day.
Sooner Game Day is presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola. OG&E. We energize life. OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. OU Health, Oklahoma's only comprehensive academic health system.
Time for Sooners in the NFL, brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused. A couple of DBs doing work in the league last week. Billy Bowman had a pick, the rookie for the Falcons. Tony Jefferson is still around, guys. Monday Night Football, he got
What
an
a player.
INT.
Awesome teammate. So excited that he's had the career that
Would you
he's
say
had.
you're 13 or so for him? 12, 13?
He was in the draft before me, so that was
2012 was his last year.
Yeah, he was in the 13 draft. I think he took a year off and was thinking about getting to coaching or scouting, but
It's been a while.
Unk is making plays out there.
Time for hot takes to close it out, brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. We'll start with you, Gabe. Your hot take for OU Auburn.
I went back and forth between Burks and Kanik. I'm going to go with Kanik. Career high in receiving. So I believe he had 90
Correct.
in the opener. I think he gets over 100. I really like the matchup with him on Auburn's linebackers, or even if they play him with the nickel, I still like the matchup. I really like what I've seen from him. Give me Jaren Kanik, career high in receiving.
I like it. Mine is if we get 1 turnover, we get 3.
Ooh.
I think if we can just get the cap off, get the lid off, and force Jackson Arnold into a mistake, I think they're gonna come.
One of them go to the house?
Yeah.
One of them go to
Sure.
the house? Okay, that's my hot take. We're going to take one to the house. Going to be a lot of fun just after 2:30 on Saturday, the SEC opener, Oklahoma and Auburn. The SEC play is underway. We'll see you next week on Sooner Game Day. Boomer Sooner, everybody.